Hey, opposing gloves here, and
Jordan.
that's the most confident one you've done so far. So today we're going to be talking about the mixer. So you have a mixer. Your mixer looks different than mine. You could pull the mixer up in FL by just hitting F9. So if you hit F9, oh yeah, yours is function. We got to figure out how to turn that off. So you can also get to it by clicking this little icon up here. And it makes sense that this is the mixer because they look like faders. So that also turns the mixer on and off. Okay. So this mixer is where your sounds come. So you have a bunch of sound sources like your channels, your synths and stuff that we've been writing music with. And then they all get sent to a mixer channel. You can actually see this mixer channel right next to the channel on the channel rack. So you see how the kick has a 1 next to it?
Yes, sir.
So if I put a note down on the kick and play it, it comes out what's called insert 1. The reason they're called inserts is because you're going to insert things in between the kick and the master output. So this is your master over here on the side. It says like master. So this is what's coming out. You don't want to dump stuff on your master unless you're doing things where there's either no other way to do it. Because in other DAWs, the way the mixer's set up is significantly different. So, but they all pretty much do the same thing. It's just the way you look at it sort of changes. But basically, in FL, sounds are not linked to mixer tracks. You see how we could move the kick to like track 7?
Yes.
Or we can move it back to 1. In some DAWs, you can't do that like we just did it.
Okay.
The kick will be linked to a specific track, and you'd actually have to take the kick's track and route it to another spot. And you can do that in FL too. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So let's just start real simple. So that means that according to the knowledge you have now, where would you expect the channel labeled hat to come out?
The channel labeled hat would come out in number 3, right?
Right. So go ahead, give it a try. Put down some notes on the hat.
All right. So
we're being very specific. Okay, and then hit the space bar. So there you go. They're coming out channel 3. So that's pretty straightforward. And the reason why this is valuable to us, this is like super important. This is what'll make a song sound clean. Is that let's say that I put down, I'll put down some hats too. So I'll put down some hats like so, and I'm playing my sound and I want to change the way my sound sounds. So I'm going to put an effect down. So over here, you see how on this side over here, we have these things called slots?
Yes.
Like right there?
Slots.
Yeah, so these slots are all places you can put additional effects.
Okay.
So if you click on one of the slots, you'll have a big menu. Yeah, let me move the mic
That would help.
forward.
Nice.
It will also help with just levels. So, so these are all the effects you have. I have lots of third-party effects. So I have just tons of effects you don't have. You own FL now. Yeah,
I do.
Proud
I own
owner
it.
of an FL studio.
Yes.
Of a copy. Anyways, that sounds kind of weird. Proud owner of an FL. But anyways, those are the effects you can use. So let's start off with just an easy one. Let's go to the EQ.
All right.
On yours, it's gonna be.
Yeah, mine does not look like that.
It's gonna be under. Oh geez, it's been a while. Filter.
Okay.
Parametric EQ 2. That's the one you want.
Got it.
So you're gonna select that, and Mike, what the heck? Did mine freeze? All right. I'm gonna select the same, and here it is. So now, as I play my sound, I could see the sound coming in. Go ahead, stop it. So the whole point is you can add effects this way, because we're gonna spend quite a while talking about each effect. But it doesn't make sense to really talk about them until you're like writing a song.
Okay.
Because right now we're just looking at them. But basically in EQ, you see these red lines?
Yes.
These red lines basically show you the frequencies at any moment of time. So as your hi-hat plays. So I noticed that my hi-hat, right, it's got like a lot of energy up here in the higher frequencies. Mm-hmm. Where this is like, you see how it says like 10K under there?
Yeah.
Real small print.
Yes.
You can actually make it bigger by just dragging. Yeah. And so these are 20 hertz, and this is like up here is 10 hertz. I mean 10 kilohertz, so 10,000 and 20,000 hertz. So by moving these around, you can change the volume of specific frequencies.
Woo.
So like if I boost it, sounds like that. If I do a cut,
Okay.
sounds like that. And so this we are filtering it, and that's why it was under the filter option. In
So
your
is there?
effects.
So let's say, right, you manipulate the sound, but then you want to go back to the original. How do you do that? Is there a button you can hit to reset all these colorful dots?
Yeah, so if you want, there's a couple ways. Like, let's say you did this, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to do that. So there's some A B you can do. You can use compare down here
Okay.
to do that, and you could also turn the effect off here.
And that automatically resets it.
So if you want to reset it, you can middle mouse click the parameters to reset it, or you could go up to your presets and select the default preset.
Okay. All right.
So if you're looking to just A B it, hear what it sounds like without it on, and then hear what it sounds like with it on, I recommend coming over here and just turning
that.
on and off. Yeah, this just turns the effect on and off. So if I have it off, on.
Okay. But it still
So-
saves the adjustments you made to the frequency, right?
Yeah, so this is still here. It's just this is turning it on and off.
Okay.
And this dial right here, this like mixes that in and out. So if I have it like, let's say I like this effect, but it's like maybe that's too much. I want that effect, but only like half of it.
Okay.
So I could take this and turn it down halfway, and there it is, basically completely off, completely on. Now, when we talk about a knob that does something like this, like sort of it mixes between them, we call it wet dry. So a signal that has been processed, we call that signal wet because it's been processed. And a signal that has nothing's been processed, like the effect is off, we call that signal dry. And
Okay.
you'll see this in almost every plugin you'll ever use. They'll have knobs labeled wet dry. It's very common. So yeah, that's wet dry. And that's how you deal with it in FL. So why don't you go ahead and let's close this. What I want you to do, because we need to just get you comfortable with knowing how things are to come in. Let's also talk about how to get rid of one of these effects, because I see people do ridiculous stuff. Like when I was new, I didn't know. I couldn't figure it out. There's no like straight up remove button, and like you can't really see one here. There's no X or something. And so I'll see people just turn the effect off and just start working on the next effect slot. Don't do that. Don't do that. So you go ahead, you click, and you just go to replace, and you select none. There's an option labeled none.
All right. Replace. Whoa.
So you've replaced it. I'm not sure what you did there.
Okay. Replace.
But basically in this menu, so when you go to replace, these are all your plugins. So you can put a different plugin there if you made a mistake. But you have the option none. You'll have it in there. So hover over replace.
All right.
And this is the menu.
Oh, that's the menu.
That's the yeah. It popped
Okay.
out on the other
So
side.
let's see. None.
So you could go to delete too. They've added. So up here you see how it says delete.
Oh, yeah.
So you could go to delete. Mine says none.
Yeah, mine does
I did not.
say.
I did not know that. But delete. Select delete. That'll
Okay.
get rid of it.
Whoa. What is that?
Hit X. Just go out of that. Just a sec. Let me make sure that that delete was what I think it was. So we'll come in here. We'll add. I don't know. This time we'll add a hardcore. And so now we've got our hardcore. We're gonna go to replace, delete. Yeah, I'm not sure what you clicked. I think you clicked on search. So if you go to select more plugins, you can search, because you're able to create a system. Like what you saw is a file system of my plugs that I've specifically made, because I have this massive list. And all these things with no check marks, those are plugins that aren't in my list, either because they're duplicates, like a lot of these are different versions, because some DAWs require a plugin to be in a certain version. So like you could see like there's VST, VST3, there's all these different, and then just regular VST. And so basically, if you have like a plugin in your list and you want to get rid of it, you can come into this list and put a check mark or turn the check mark off.
Oh, that's
And it will
interesting.
get rid of it.
Okay, cool.
So anyways, that's kind of more advanced though. You're not gonna care very much until you have things that you use a lot. And then you'll be like,
Yeah.
I don't want this showing up here anymore or whatever. So go ahead, add a clap to your drum beat. and then I want you to put another equalizer on that clap.
Okay. All right, there's the clap.
Okay.
You want me to put an equalizer?
Mm-hmm.
So that means I have to come over here, right? Or,
Well, which channel will it come out of? So you can
oh,
close-
okay, wait. Don't tell me. All right, it comes out of channel 2, right? So I go here, slot 2, right?
So a slot is not an insert.
Ah.
A slot is something you put in the insert.
Okay, so then do I have to come over here and drag something into here?
No, oh, well, no, you're on it. It's selected, when you selected your clap, it selected insert 2 for you.
Okay, so you want me to put something in here.
Yeah, so now you can go to your slot.
Okay, now I can go to the slot.
See, the thing was before you had this. You had this being covered. So I didn't know for sure if you knew which channel it was coming out of.
Okay, yeah.
But now it's uncovered and you know that you're on the correct channel.
All right, so now I can, all right, I'm going to choose one. Or did you want...
Oh, you could pick something else.
Oh, you wanted a specific one.
Do you recognize any of the effects in there?
No, I don't.
Like just as a category? Like do you know what a compressor at all?
Yeah, I know what a compressor is. It like compresses the sound.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that.
What about this? What about fruity love filter?
Go ahead. Toss that on
with
there.
a pH. All right, cool.
You'll notice in the audio we really like to misspell things and think we're clever about it.
Okay.
So just ask Native Instruments.
So what does it sound like?
So go ahead, stop it. Now what do you think this is doing to your sound?
Let me hear it again. I wasn't really paying attention. Okay.
Just from hearing. Don't look at like you could say, oh, it's filtering.
Well, it sounds hollow, you know?
Okay.
It kind of sounds like
what's missing from the sound right
the
now?
bottom end, right?
Let's do it again.
Okay.
Now, which sound is being affected?
The channel 2, right? The clap.
The clap.
Yeah.
And so turn the effect off.
Okay.
Now listen to it. Now go back. Now, it'd probably be easier to hear if the clap was being played by itself, right?
Yeah.
So what you can do is go to your clap.
And then turn those
green... Let's do it in the mixer. So go to your clap and just right-click the green light. The green light says that all of those channels are active. If you right-click it, now that channel is soloed. So now go ahead, turn your effect back on, your free love filter. And so what's it doing to your sound?
So it's dampening it.
Yeah. So it's not the high end. I mean, it's not the low end.
It's the high end.
It's the high end. Yeah. You'll find that usually filters will open up with what's called a low pass filter. So a low pass filter means it lets low frequencies pass.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward. Yeah. However, it's confusing because they also sometimes call it a high cut.
A high cut.
So it cuts high frequencies, meaning it lets low frequencies pass.
Okay.
So you'll totally, when I was new, I got them mixed up all the time. Mm-hmm. But a high cut and a low pass, you'll still catch people who are seasoned at this.
So that's all filters do that?
No, there's like a bunch of different kinds of filters. So I'm not sure if we want to go into filtering right now. What I think we should do is, now that you know what a mixer is and you know how the sounds are coming in, let's go ahead and make a simple little beat. And then the main thing about mixing, the big two things are panning and volume. Everything else, after you've made all your creative decisions, when it comes to mixing, like 80% of it's panning and volume.
Okay.
Everyone thinks it's all these extra effects and things, and it's true those things like add the final polish. But if your volumes, if like you have messed up, just like for example, your singer is too low, your track's gonna suck. Even if you had everything else right. Even if like they dip out maybe for a little bit and then they come back. And so we have all sorts of tools to really specifically deal with volume. Like a compressor, that's its main job is volume management.
Okay.
So, because maybe you sang the chorus really loud, but then your verse, you sang all soft. And so we're like, well, we need the verse to be louder than that. And so a compressor can actually help with that.
Oh, wow.
So what we're going to do is let's make like a simple little drum beat.
Okay. Should I just copy you with the beat?
Yeah, let's just make like, let's try and keep it similar. Right, so cool. For the kick, I'm going to show you a fancy trick for working quickly sometimes. If you right click on the kick channel, You see how we have this fill, each 2, each 4, and each 8 steps?
Yes.
So I'm going to choose 4 steps, and it just automatically puts those down for you. So that's nice. And then for the hat, I'm going to do the same thing we did last time, just make like a really simple thing. So I'm going to put those on the...
Right here, right?
Yeah. On the ends.
Yeah.
And then I'll put a clap on beats 2 and 4.
Okay. That's just here, right?
Beats 2 and 4. So you're on the E of...
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
1 E and you're on the of...
Okay. So 2.
Yeah. And 4.
And 4.
That's the E. That's the I mean. I got my E's and O's all mixed up.
Yeah.
So anyways, you should have... Do you have that? Oh yeah, okay. So let's see if you can undo it all. Okay.
That's basically the same thing.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's turn the effect off too.
All right.
For now. Go ahead and remove the effect.
Okay, wait. I can do it. Move the effect. I'm removing it.
So that's one way of doing it. Go ahead and just delete the effect entirely. We're not going to use that effect.
Okay. Wait. So then I go to replace.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do? I
go
to delete.
Yep. And it's gone. Then go ahead and turn that mixer slot, activate it again. Just because it's a good habit to just have things back. So you see how you deactivated it? Go ahead, just turn that back on.
Got it.
So let's go ahead and we're going to create a small little bass line too.
Okay.
So I know you've got harmless. So I'm going to open up a harmless.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead, grab harmless. I believe it's in synth
I wish this was alphabetized.
classic.
Synth classic.
You can make it alphabetized if you want. It doesn't do it automatic.
Harmer.
Well, you know what? Actually, I don't know. You might be able to.
Harmer, right?
Harmless.
Okay. Synth classic. I need to find that. Oh, harmless. Here we go.
So a lot of times, like what you just said, if you're not familiar with the menu, at the top you see how it says more plugs. I'll go to more plugs and just start typing in harmless. And there's also a plugin picker which does the same thing pretty much, which you can get to. Oh, my thing's looking. There you go. You middle mouse click and you see how it's got all this stuff.
Yes.
So you could search like harmless and like pop it, and you're actually able to like drag it out. It's all fancy and graphical and stuff. But anyways, you've got a harmless open. Now the first thing you're gonna do is turn the volume on this harmless down.
Okay. Volume down.
Yeah, do.
Wait, let me just.
So the volume knob I just opened is somewhat hidden.
Wait, let me just make this bigger. How do I do that?
Well, harmless. So.
You can't.
You should be able to. It's been vector. I guess you can't. You can't do it with all plugs.
Okay, so it's hidden, and I need the volume. So what about right here? It says volume.
Well, you could use that, but let's not use that one. For
all right, what about here?
Other reasons.
Is that one?
Nope, don't use that one.
Okay.
So go. Do you see this cog icon up here?
Oh yeah.
Click that, and use that volume knob. This one.
Oh, okay. Volume. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so turn that down to like, I don't know, like halfway.
Halfway.
Oh, my, just a sec. I think my MIDI keyboard's been stolen by my other instance of FL. Turn that off. Okay. It's just really loud. It scares me half to death every time I open up, like Harmer or Harmless. Citrus has a nice preset that it opens up with that usually isn't like as shocking as just a straight up saw wave in your ears.
Well, I mean, you know, it is harmer. It's gonna harm you.
What about harmless?
Harmless? Oh, that, yeah.
It's a lie. Okay, so now we have a saw wave, and I just want to write in a simple bass line. So we're literally just opening it up, and we're just gonna use a saw wave.
Okay.
So we're gonna come in. And now I want my drum beat to be for my first couple patterns. So I'm going to go to my sequencer and lay down like 8 bars of just the same drum loop. I'm just building a little loop right now. And then underneath, I'm going to make a new pattern. I'm going to call it like, I don't know, synth. I don't think we've actually done something like this yet. So now you're going to make a new pattern. So to do that, because we haven't done this, I don't think yet.
I just did what you told me never ever to do.
What was that?
Like when when this is moved to just delete the whole thing and redo it.
Oh, yeah, don't do that. You should know how to undo it.
Yeah.
It's usually faster. So go ahead, click on this plus icon. It's going to make a new pattern for you. And now new patterns require a name. You can hit enter if you don't care. I named mine synth. And then, yeah, so this is going to be our synth pattern. See how it's cleared everything? So these are fresh ones. So now we're going to go to the piano roll for the harmless. Do you remember how to get to the piano roll?
Yeah, there's a piano button right here.
That's the typing keyboard.
There should be another piano. Oh, wait.
That's the mixer.
Wait, don't tell me.
I'm going to tell you.
No.
Right click on harmless.
Piano.
And go to piano roll.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's you get the hang of it as you go more. So, we're just going to work in the key of C. C is easy to work in.
I want to make this bigger.
Hold Alt, push your mouse wheel, and drag up down. Oh, wait. When you say bigger, in what way?
Like, I want to make this...
Zoom out?
Yeah.
Control, scroll, mouse wheel.
Control, scroll, mouse wheel. There we go.
So you see how you're over on the edge? Look at, like, yeah. You remember how to use it. Okay, so...
but how do I make the piano bigger? Like, how do I make this whole thing bigger?
Like, you want to stretch the piano out vertically?
Yeah. Well, I want to make it so I don't have to, like, squint when I'm looking at these.
So if you hold down Control, push your mouse wheel, and drag up down.
Whoa, there we go.
Yeah, I said Alt earlier. That's wrong. That's how you do it. It's one of those ones I just sort of do. I don't think about very much. So I usually work with it sort of zoomed out a bit, though. I don't know why. Anyways, I'm just going to put down a simple little quarter note bass line. So your snap setting is all weird. See how hard it is for you to get on the line?
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous. So if you come up here to your snap setting.
Okay. Oh. Line.
And there'll be one that says line.
Okay.
Use that.
Sense.
Yeah. So go ahead, delete those other ones.
Right. And then one more.
And then, yeah, one more. For the... It's because you're zoomed in somewhat close, but you see we're working in measure 1. So these are basically quarter notes.
Yeah.
Well, quarter notes would be this. So these are eighth notes with eighth note rests. But what I'm having like a conflict inside, because you could write these as quarter notes and just have like have it stylistically be played like that. You know how sometimes people do that? Yeah. Or like rings longer than you actually hold the key for or whatever. Anyways, you should have that.
Something like that.
You have a different note, but it's fine. So I'm gonna go C, and then I'm gonna clone and go up to E flat, a D, and a B. Well, I'm making a little line like this.
Oh yeah, okay. So then you're going to E, right? Alright, that makes sense.
Yeah. So how do you clone easily? No, delete those. No.
Okay, no, I remember. It's like this, right? It's like that. Then it's
Control Z.
Yeah, wait, no.
You use 2 hands for Control Z? You don't do that again.
Okay, wait. Pretend that never happened. Check it out. Oh no.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, and then it was Alt, right? No, it was Control click. No, it was Alt, wasn't it?
Well, select them all. You had them selected.
Okay.
And then Shift, click, drag.
And then
then let go of Shift.
And then let go of Shift, and now I can just move all this, right?
Yeah, now you can move them.
Up to E.
So I guess I do it as a little bit smoother of a motion. So let's say I want to duplicate this. I select it, and then I hold Shift, click, drag. This duplicates it, and then I let go of Shift. So it's all just like one smooth thing.
All right, and then you went down to here. Boom.
So yeah, you could go ahead. You might want to zoom out. See how it's kind of tedious to work at that level. So it makes sense to zoom out to a couple measures.
Like that?
Don't. So you're doing like, just leave the piano roll. I tend to leave this where it's at. I don't zoom up or down. Like I don't do this very often.
Okay.
I almost always am doing this. So I hardly ever actually push the mouse wheel. Unless I'm selecting a menu, but we'll talk about that later.
All right, and then boom. Right.
Cool. So you got your own sort of thing.
And then how do I deselect?
Control D.
Okay.
And one hand.
Okay, one hand.
No more of these two. The whole point is that you're able to do it so you can keep your hand on the mouse.
Yeah.
Because the more you're doing this, the more it's just extra movement you don't need. So now we have this, and I'm going to put it in my sequencer. So go ahead, close the piano roll. You don't need that anymore. You've got your thing.
Close right here.
Yeah, go ahead, close the piano roll. Yeah. Okay. And now if I place it down, I'm selected on synth. You can tell because it says arrangement synth, playlist arrangement synth. So I'm on the synth. It's automatically, it should be there. Whatever you're selected, I believe also matches whatever your current pattern listing is.
So should I put it down for the full 8 bars or?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that too.
Okay, so.
We just want like something small to mix. Now, some people get all crazy and they name their tracks like they'll only put synth stuff here. And this is how other DAWs tend to work. A synth line, if you want a synth line here for this synth, it's gotta be here. And FL, that's like not true at all. I could have like one random drum pattern there. So it's kind of interesting. There's like benefits to both. But anyways, yeah. So what we're going to do now is I have my synth line. And right now you see how my synth next to Harmless 2, it has no output.
Has nothing.
It has dashes. Yeah. That means it's going straight to the master.
Okay.
And that's usually bad because we want to be able to look at things individually. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click, type in a value. And or actually we're not going to type in a value. But if you wanted to, you could select a very specific channel. Instead, select the channel, and this is how I always like assign recently.
Okay.
You hit Control L, or yeah, Control L. It might be Control Shift L for like a group, I believe. So now it's automatically done it, and it's even named it for you. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
With this thing,
it's
just
wonderful.
So I'm gonna rename it to like bass, and I did that by shift clicking. Yeah.
What did you name it?
I named it bass.
Bass.
Boss. Oh, dude. Now, it doesn't update your channel strip either. Okay. So go ahead, or I guess in FL they're called inserts. But go ahead and update your insert by the same thing.
Shift click, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So now if we play it's amazing. I know.
Why?
Let's go ahead and stop. So yeah, why?
Okay, so I have to get rid of this, right?
No.
Oh, wait, it's probably something like the volume.
No.
Wait. Okay, let me.
Go ahead, close harmless. It's just in your way. We typically try to close windows because we want to be able to see these things. These are sort of like the big things we always want to see.
Yeah.
What playback mode are you in?
Oh, I'm in. I'm not in song. I'm in pattern.
So well, you're working on a laptop. This might make less sense for you, but go ahead, turn off. So this controls whether or not your keyboard's a typing keyboard or not. I almost always have this off because if you hit L, it'll switch you between song and pattern mode.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I use that a lot.
Okay.
But it should also update you. Sometimes it'll change automatically. I forgot.
So for laptops, is it Shift L or just L? Oh, it's just L. Cool.
It's just L. Yeah, it's great. So, anyways, yeah, go ahead, play like a couple measures. Stop it. So yours is off.
That's not.
You can hear that, right?
Yeah, I can hear it. This whole upper line is not.
So go ahead, zoom into your drums. Something's wrong with your drums. Because I saw you put your bass line in. That looked fine. Zoom in further. Oh, okay. So you see how these. Okay, so if I zoom in. You see how mine, these are basically the MIDI trigger signals. So these are like the drum sounds that are being triggered. You see how yours are off the beat?
Yeah, they're off the beat.
So go ahead and control click your track.
Okay.
Control click track 1.
Right here, right?
No. When I say track 1, I mean like
oh, you mean here.
These.
Okay,
yeah.
control click.
So that selects all the patterns there. Now you're off by a little bit. So turn your snap setting to none. There's a keyboard shortcut for this, but
okay, snap setting.
we're gonna do it the old school way first. So up here, next to like the little magnet, you've got a snap setting. Yeah. Put that to none.
That's what a snap setting is. Okay, none.
And now just drag them all the way over.
Control?
No, just click and drag over. See, you're gonna hit the front, so it's guaranteed to like, it's gonna stop because it. Let me go all the way over here.
Did it do it?
Yeah, you're up in line now. See how they're all in line?
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Oh, and you're yeah, you're good. Let's go ahead. Fixed.
Cool.
So that was what was wrong. You were off time there.
Ah.
It's a common thing. So go ahead and change your snap setting back to line.
Back to line. Okay. Got it.
And so now we have a little thing, and we have them coming out our first mixer tracks, right?
Yes.
So I'm gonna go ahead and name my mixer tracks. So this one's my kick, right? Or actually, I wonder if, let's try this. It might work. Select the tracks that are currently, making noise.
Okay.
So your kick, clap, and hat, because we want to name those. So to select, you just click drag, or you can hold, or yeah, you can do that too. Oh, what was that? Control?
I just did right click.
Oh, right click. There you go. Didn't know that one. So what we're gonna do is we're going to hit Control L, and it will automatically update those 3 channels for us.
I like that.
So now it's been named kick, clap, hat, and actually it'll match the color too, which is nice, I believe. Let's change one and find out. So, quick, I guess not really a reminder, but a warning. If you use Control L twice, it's going to change. So, like, you see how these are both labeled kick?
Yes.
But I reassigned it to channel 6. See how this is channel 6? So, it's no longer coming out channel 1, so that was a mistake. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back to channel 1, and I'm going to reset this. And you can go to reset by just going to File.
Oh, what? My kick didn't change to hot pink. Lame.
Yeah, so let's go ahead. That doesn't work, just so you know. I forgot that that's how that works. I don't remember how to update. I don't know if there's even a way to update. Maybe someone in the comments will tell me, because people in their comments have been very helpful. So, like, every question I've asked in these videos, like, they've answered most of them.
That's,
like how to say marquee.
Man.
It's there. It's
There
top
you
comment.
There you go.
So let's go ahead and if we play it, we should see all our audio coming in. And you see here, my channels are all messed up right now. So let me set these back to what they should be because of that shenanigan I just pulled. So I've got it going normal. Did yours work as expected?
Yeah, mine works.
Cool. So now, when we're mixing, all you're gonna do is I want you to make this sound as great as possible using only the faders.
Only the faders.
The faders are
these thingies.
which do.
Which yeah. Okay, so faders, they
Well, what is a fader?
it makes
just,
it louder. It's volume.
Yeah, it's just
Volume
volume.
control.
And panning. Do you know what panning is?
Panning is like soundscaping, right?
That's not someone who like really knows what panning is would not say that. So I mean because that's like so what does soundscaping even mean? So a panning is just left to right.
Left to right.
So if for example, so these guys right here are my panning controls.
Okay.
And you see how they're centered by default. And like if I middle mouse click them, they'll go to the center. So that means that right now it's mono. So it comes out of both speakers equally loud.
Okay.
And then as I turn it, it'll come out of one speaker.
So fader is up down, panning's left right,
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
and that's what you want me to use.
Yeah. There's actually 2 kinds. There's what's called panning law, which is like in order to make it sound like it's coming out like your left headphone, you could increase the volume in your left headphone, or you could decrease the volume in your right headphone.
Okay.
And so there's like different schools of thought about how to like accomplish panning.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm telling you this, but just so you know, like anyways, left to right, and then you have volume control that's up down.
All right. Well, so are we just gonna do our thing and then convene after?
No, we're gonna do it right here because there's a lot of decisions. So first, let's whenever I'm mixing,
Okay.
all these things are allowed right now, right? But you gotta observe your levels. So let's see when a mixer control, when a fader's at its what's called a nominal value.
Okay.
It just means that this is the default value and it's unity. So it doesn't like affect your signal coming through.
Okay.
It just lets the signal go on through. It doesn't turn it up or turn it down at all. So right now we don't have very much room to turn our stuff up.
No, we don't.
And so if I play it, these are my levels right now, and a lot of them, you know, they're sitting at like, I don't know, like really soft. If you click here, you can see on your meter right here what a particular channel is doing. So you see how there's nothing on this one, so nothing's coming out.
Yes.
But if I click over here, I'm able to see, and these are decibels, but basically you see, oh, this one's at 9. This one's also at 9. This one's at like 15. And we'll talk about what these mean as like it comes up.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, what we're going to do is I don't want everything to be loud. So I'm going to select them by control drag.
Okay. Control drag.
And I'm just going to turn them all down some. I don't know. Turn them down to like there.
Do I have to hit control while I do that? Or
no, you could just drag. And so if I play it, it's like a lot softer. And then what I would do is I would bring my headphone volume up some.
Okay.
And then I would treat that as like my unity.
Oh.
And I do that so that I can turn up or down easily. But the caveat is your recordings can't be like
The caveat?
soft. Caveat.
Caveat.
I've never been corrected on this. I'm saying all these French words wrong. I can't say marquee or caveat or whatever. I know what the word means. So, yeah, that's what you're gonna do. So that's basically how. So when you're mixing, the idea is you want the ability to turn stuff up or down. And if you like, let's say that you get to a point where everything's just super loud. There's a maximum. Once you hit the max, everything's just gonna sound like it's been squished, like it's all gonna be loud. So we want to turn everything down so we have some room to work with. I typically, when I'm doing a mix, I'll turn everything just straight up off like this. And then I'll turn stuff up one by one and consider each thing. So what I'm going to do first, right, we're going to start with our kick. And I'll like, you know, I'll start playing and I'll listen to my kick.
How do I deselect again?
You can just click anywhere else on the mixer. I guess you can't click anywhere else. Click on another channel. No, like on the channel, like
okay.
on the little like waveforms and stuff, or the levels.
Cool.
So first I'm going to observe my kick. And I say, how loud do I want my kick to be? And since it's the first sound I'm going to hear, I want this sound, it's going to set like what I expect. So first I should think what I want my kick to sound like in my track. Like, is it the most important thing? Are the vocals going to be more important? Like, how does it fit? And in this case, you know, this isn't really, well, it's like whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it like around here just arbitrarily. Okay. And what I would do is I'd adjust my headphone levels to make that sound, make sure that it's loud enough to where I'm like, okay, this is like what I want to be mixing at. Even though if you were to play this on another system, it sounds softer. The reason we do that is so that we have like room again. At the end of mixing, when you make your song basically sound as great as possible, then you take away all that extra room and you even will compress the dynamic range. Okay. And that's called mastering. Oh. So, and there's a couple other things that go on in mastering, but that's the basic idea that we've got going on. So right now I'm playing, and you know, I'm gonna set it to like. See, now right now my kick just isn't that loud, like coming in. So I could set it to unity, and it'll be coming in at 9 dB, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty okay right now. So I'm gonna be working with that.
Okay, so. So yeah, I'll put it at 9 also.
Yeah, see, your headphone volume is
louder.
Coming out louder.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead. I'm going to turn mine up and adjust it. And we should be coming in. There we go.
There we go.
And so there we go. So now that's like sort of our baseline. In reality, hitting around 9, I might want to be hitting between 12 and 9. Because the thing is, when you start adding in more sounds, they're going to add up.
Right.
Because... yeah, you'll add them all up, and your master will actually be like, you know, it's going to be louder. And so you can't, in order to adjust the entire thing, we can't have everything being that loud, because generally you want to mix to peaking, so meaning that peaking is just like the loudest your song is at a moment. Okay. So you generally don't want that to go past like 6 to 3.
Oh, wow.
Because that way you always have a little bit of room. So that's called headroom.
Okay.
And generally the headroom looked at is like a de facto standard is 6 dB. Like if someone asks you like, oh, what do you mix to? You say 6 dB. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, cool. Some people are like really crazy and they mix to like minus 12.
What?
These are all actually minus numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to just leave mine like around yay. And then I'm going, okay, that's where my kick is. And I think, do I want to make my kick in the left or the right? And the answer is in this case, no. If you want to be like really creative, I guess you could.
Yeah, like the kick comes in on the left, and you got like the...
Maybe you have a couple kick drums, something like that. Maybe. But for most of the time, kick comes right out the center, and the snare typically does too. But in this case, we have a clap, so maybe I'll bring my clap in next. I think the clap sounds fine at like that level.
So like, where did you have that?
I don't know. Use your ears.
I think that's fine.
You like how it fits right there?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Now, so I'm listening to this on my right. Now I'm going to bring in my hat and just sort of try and find a spot. Now, the clap, we didn't consider panning. So I'm like, do I want to pan it? I'm like, maybe, sure. I'll put it a little off to the side. And this is really important because your brain, if something's off to the side, it's going to reach one ear first. And your brain is better at separating sounds when stuff like that happens. So it'll actually affect the space. It'll make it sound a lot more clear.
Wow.
Just a little bit panning. Now, yeah, and then dial it to where you want it.
Yeah, I'll put it way off over there. I like that.
So I'm going to just really quick listen to mine because
Yeah.
I made an adjustment and didn't even listen to it. So I think that's fine. I just wanted to be subtly offset. I don't care too much about it being like super far over. Everything to its taste, but I tend to see a lot of new people who will go crazy with panning.
Boom.
They'll have things straight up all the way out left and right and all this crazy stuff. And sometimes that can be really cool as an effect. So like for now, if this is the thing you want to do, then that's cool. It's just like I think as you do more of it, you tend to find things better.
Yeah.
But because right now you just gotta try it, and the best way to try is just go really extreme.
Go all out.
And
see
drive.
what the things do.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm gonna bring in my hat, and my hat's like a softer sound. So mixer wise, I'm gonna need to bring my mixer up more to make as big a dent as these guys had. And that's because if like say this was a recording session, that would be a thing I'd have to consider is like, the hat's not as hot. Is it gonna matter later? Because for those reasons, you don't want to turn up something because it'll have a noise floor that'll go up with it. The more you turn that fader up, the more the noise will go up. So in this case, we're working with samples, so it's not a big deal.
Okay.
But let me go ahead and just bring it in a little more. And I'm going to pan this, I'm thinking maybe to the right some. And that's where I'm going to settle there. Your pan knobs are also bigger, so your moves look a little more extreme than mine.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
You like that? Okay. Now, I had a professor who would always come around, because I had a mixing class, and in this class, we were just given songs and we had to mix them. And he would always come around, and he would ask to listen to your mix, and he would always try and figure out what the last thing your mixing was. Why did that come out all weird? He'd try to figure out what the last thing you were mixing was. So, like, let's say you've been mixing the song for, like, 2 hours just for practice. And then he comes over and listens, and he'll be like, oh, you were mixing the vocals last. And he'd be like, right, like 98% of the time. Like, it was, like, scary good.
Wow.
And sometimes he would just tell you, oh, I can't tell. And the way he would do it was because the last thing you were mixing tends to be louder because you were focusing on it. So when you're mixing, you want to listen to things in context and ask yourself, is this where I want this to be? Because you focused on that a lot, and I think this is actually a little louder than you typically might make it.
Maybe,
so
probably.
It's just something that I always think about now when I'm doing stuff. I'm like, would my professor be able to tell that this was the last thing I was mixing?
Yeah, probably.
And would that be a bad thing? Because sometimes if you're mixing the vocals and the vocals are the main point of the song, then mix vocals louder. It makes sense. But yeah, there's something else to just keep in mind when you're doing this. So now let's bring in our synth line. Now here, our synth shares frequencies with these other sounds, so it's gonna mask them some. Usually, you can deal with this to a degree with clever use of volume automation, which is like controlling volume over time, and also equalization, so changing frequencies in certain sounds. So you create like a little hole. Like maybe I remove the low end of the kick drum, but keep the high end. So the kick still has like that crisp punch at the top, and then the bass comes through on the bottom.
You fill it in with the bass.
Yeah, we're not gonna do any of that. Because mixing is 80% volume knob, faders, and panning. That's it. So what we're gonna do is we're just going to just bring this in and put it at the level I think is fine for this thing. When I say also volume and panning, that includes automation. So it kind of includes compression because you could go in and make like microscopic volume changes, which is what we were all doing.
Yeah.
But it gives you a major respect for compression, and it also shows you that sometimes compression isn't the best thing. Sometimes going in there and making these little microscopic changes yourself is better. So what we're gonna do is just gonna play this. And I'm gonna leave it coming out the center. I might pop it off just a hair to the side. Hopefully it'll give the kick some more room. Like I'll listen to see. So like I feel like there is a different, like I can hear it, but it's like really small, it's nothing significant. Yeah. So typically when you do something like that, you can like psych yourself out into thinking there's an effect there that's not. So there's part of it's like you just got to train yourself to know what you're actually hearing. And the other way is you make a really extreme change and then you dial it back. Okay. And that's also a great way of doing it. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. Go ahead and stop it. So your bass sound was also softer because remember we turned it down at the beginning. Yeah. Because I didn't want saw waves just blasting our ears. Mm-hmm. So yours you might consider turning it up. That way you have more room to mess with your fader. Okay. So like more, like way more. Well, no, not way more. You just might turn it up some. That way your fader movements like they become more useful. Oh, okay. Right. You got more. Because basically, when it's softer, right, you have to turn it up a lot more to get to the same volume. Oh, I see. Okay. So. But it comes with a trade-off, right? With it softer, that same volume movement is sort of like you zoomed in on your level of exactness. Okay. So then, all right, so if I were to just... Now turn your volume fader down on your mixer track so we don't randomly... It's suddenly going to be a lot louder. And so go ahead and reconsider it now. See, and now you have way more room if you want. You can get louder. Not a problem. I think that's cool. Go ahead and stop it. So I'm going to play mine, and then you can listen to, like, my decisions were a lot more... Sophisticated. Not sophisticated. They were a lot more conservative. Okay. And then you went sort of a wider image. So yours might sound more open or whatever. You have room to maybe have a lead in the middle. Where mine, I didn't anticipate, putting something else in there. So I don't think, like we could, I'd be mixing as I go. Right. To a degree. But like, for example, here's mine. Solid. And then go ahead, play yours. It's just different sounds. So one of the things that blew me like away when I was in this mixing class was how we could all be given the exact same audio files and everyone would mix it and you swear in some cases they were different songs. Even though they were the same songs, but they sounded so different. It was really surprising. Like there was one especially where we were recording in a studio and we were both given this voice to work with. And my team, we just had a hard time getting this voice to sound smooth on top. We were trying all kinds of stuff because it just had these parts where notes would stick out in ways that you're like they were too loud. And it was hard to rein them back, and compression wasn't working all that great. And I remember the other group, their voice, we got the horns though. Our horn section sounded friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
So their horn section, it sounded good, but it didn't have like the same bang for the buck ours did. But their voice just trumped ours, like hands down, it was better.
Yeah.
And I remember, I believe it was a particular Waves reverb they used, and it just smoothed the voice over in a way. I remember just like that was a mind blowing moment for me, like how the answer wasn't compression at all, like it wasn't even close to it. Because I always thought, oh, it's too loud there, that's the problem. But there were other things that were the problem. So you'll come across as you do mixing. I think if anyone goes to school, take a mixing class if they offer it an audio program of some kind, because it really is pretty wild to see how people come up with different results. But anyways, I wanted you to just be comfortable with the mixer. I wanted to do a little bit of mixing, mess with panning and volume, and we'll deal with effects sort of more in the context where they're used instead of talking about them as separate things, because it doesn't make sense to talk about equalization if you're not equalizing something, or compression when you're not compressing something, except for just understanding how it works. So, yeah, I think that's pretty good for now. I know we made the most exciting thing ever, but this time, when you come back, why don't you make something
Okay.
to present, and then we'll talk about it. Yeah, and then, because now you know what all the components are, you know where the sounds are, you know a little bit about what mixing is.
Yep.
And we'll talk about some of the decisions you made, and then we'll begin to introduce effects and things. That way you have something more interesting to.
So how many bars? Like, are you gonna give me some parameters, or can I just?
No, just make a beat.
Okay.
Make it like, probably actually, yeah. Let's keep it to make a loop.
Okay.
An 8-bar loop that
8-bar
just
loop?
grooves.
That grooves.
That
All right.
grooves.
I can do that.
And then you'll come across how you work with this, and you'll have some experiences too that I could sort of bring up.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's that. Subscribe.
And have a
Blessed
day.
day.